application, Season to Taste Catering, LLC, doing business as Season to Taste, holder of a common victualler wine and malt beverages license at 2447 Mass Ave, has applied for an alteration of premise to add an outdoor seasonal patio on public property. Proposed new premise description is kitchen and dining room in an open space, seating for 160 plus or minus square foot patio on the public sidewalk with 8 seats. Applicant has also submitted an application to extend the current closing hour from 10:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. For the record, Attorney Sean Oaklandville Law Offices in Cambridge. I'm here tonight on behalf of the proprietor and manager of Season to Taste LLC, Mr. Robert Harris. As listed in the application, we are applying for outdoor seating, which includes 4 tables and 8 seats, as well as to extend the closing hours by 1 hour to 11:30. In preparation for the application, we reached out to our neighbors and abutters. In addition to the notifications, we actually had some abutter on Gold Star Road who had some questions about the operation and the change of hours. There was a meeting between Mr. Harris and the neighbor. Really just to clarify, they've been open for 5 years, but oftentimes when you're seeking to do outdoor seating, especially on the stretch of Mass Ave, there's always issues about rodents and trash management and other things. So even though there's not a material change to the restaurant, there was a conversation that was had. Because of the extended hearing time, we had an opportunity to reach out to the North Cambridge Stabilization Group, Mr. Michael Brandon's group that's further down Mass Ave. Mr. Harris went there, and there was some dialogue exchange, again, not focusing necessarily on the outdoor seating or the change of hours, but the overall operation. In one of the images, there's proposed an awning that's not subject to this application, but as part of the facade improvements, and so there was some suggestions about ways to possibly improve that awning and some of the facade, as well as just general comments about the restaurant. I think they did submit a letter of at least non-opposition. I don't know if it was, they approved it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't received anything. We did receive an email from Emily Holman, and she's basically in support of the time, but not in support of the patio, because she says the sidewalk is too narrow, and so it's very hard. And she talks about how she walks there all the time because her kids go to the Horizon Daycare, and that it's too narrow in terms of what is being proposed. But that's the only thing we've received in terms of opposition or support for this application.
Madam Chair, we did receive an email since we're sitting here today.
Yes, it was just...
it just came a little while ago.
Oh, well, we received it as we're in the hearing, and I have not seen it.
Yes, from North Cambridge Stabilization Committee. They support the application on the condition that the Gold Star Road residents don't object to it.
I think we could categorize that as a letter of support because we don't have any opposition from the members of Gold Star Road. I'd like to categorize it as that. But specifically speaking towards the width of the sidewalk, we did have DPW come out in preparation of this application. They did do a site visit to ensure that we had a proper clearance as well as the grade for ADA compliance, and that was part of the application, so they did approve this location. I can't speak to...
do you have their sign off by any chance on that?
I believe...
I don't have it in the file.
The gentleman came out and we spoke, and he said yes. I don't know if there's official, so I'm sure go back.
Yeah, on the licensing inspection form, I know we have to get ISD's sign off.
So it would have to go in front of City Council to be approved by the council to be on the sidewalk, and once that approval is received, then you have to go to Public Works, pay whatever their fee is, and obtain the sidewalk obstruction permit.
Yeah, and in our experience, you know, we make sure that they do a site visit so that we don't go down the process and find out that they don't have the proper grade. Right. So Wayne came out and took a look and gave us the confidence that we could do it, but there was no actual sign off at this point. Yeah, but prior to going to the City Council, I think there is a form that the city clerk requires.
Yeah.
But we did have that inspection done prior to this hearing.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you had gotten something because, you know, the I could see what her complaint is, and I was just wondering if you had something in terms of what's being proposed. And I see that you're proposing here the patio to be against the building. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. He said there was too much stuff, like bike stuff, and signs to have it on next to the road.
I think you may want to go talk to them again, because I know that the city is now pushing for these patios to be on the curb side. I don't know exactly when that site visit happened.
It was like 2.5 months ago.
Yeah, so I think the tides are turning in terms of that. So you may want to, you know, kind of double check and see how that would affect in terms of the application and whatnot.
Okay.
Because it's probably something that's going to come up.
Okay.
Just as an FYI. And then what's the need for the change in hour? The extension of hours?
It's essentially just to have a third seating. We're a very small restaurant, it's just 20 seats. It turns out we've been very successful, and there's been a need to have folks come in for a third seating essentially. So we feel like by adding this extra time, that'll allow us to do essentially another 30, serve up to potentially 50 people on a night. So.
I would just want to take this under advisement so that we can read whatever came in terms of stuff and then vote on it. That's how I would prefer doing it. Okay, so we'll take it under advisement. Thank you.
I can check EnerGov too to see if there are any comments in there about the sidewalk.
Oh, sorry, I did have one question. In your application, you have your hours here from 5:30 to 10:30, 11:30. I have in your license right now 10:30 to 10:30, but you're not open in the morning?
Yeah, I think initially there was an idea of wanting to open for breakfast, and I think that there wasn't, except for the brunch on Sundays, there wasn't the market for that. So, so that the application, the 5:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. is the proposed hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to vote on the hours and then just?
Sure.
Well, you know what? We'll read everything that came in and just.
Okay. And a point for clarification, just for us, in terms of taking under advisement, would there be another hearing date which would?
So we're just we wouldn't take public testimony. We are meeting on June 17th at 8:30 to vote on administrative matters, so it would be taken up then.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.